Hello, dear listener, and welcome to ThriveCast, unlocking your full potential. Your well-being is our priority, and we're here to provide you with practical, heartfelt advice on living your best life. Together, we'll explore identity, purpose, prosperity mindset, authenticity, and so much more. So grab your headphones and get ready. Your journey starts now. Welcome, dear listener. This podcast is about truth, healing, and thriving. It is about the question, how can we thrive in every area of our life? And it is a pivotal time to ask this question because humanity is in dire need of solutions that are sustainable. And me in this podcast is Oscar. I'm an emotional fitness coach and
Katarina Hanssens Carlsson.
Yes.
And I'm all about thriving. And I'm the CEO of Destiny International 11, and it's about thriving in every area of your life. And we have consultations for that. We have coaching for that. We have healing for that. We'd like you to take you on a journey where you thrive. So my friend Oscar and I, the other day, we talked for 1 hour and 40 minutes nonstop. We were totally synchronized. And we'd like to talk to you today about humanity's truth and universal truth. What would you say about that, Oscar?
So humanity's truth versus universal truth. Well, I would say that humanity's truth is a lot about what we think the world is in our mind. It has a lot to do with our upbringing. It has a lot to do with what we're getting from our society, what other media that is coming into our mind. And it's so easy to buy whatever is said, because fundamentally, as a human being, when we're born, we're very naive. And because we're trustful, we want the absolute best, and we consider that everyone has their best interest for us. And we then start giving that naivety also to our caretakers, because we trust that they know what is the good thing about life, how life works, essentially. And so we buy their truth, and whatever is right or wrong in their mind or in their perception, we adapt to that. Either we embrace it or we go completely opposite, and neither of it is true. That's Absolutely. My understanding of it.
Yes.
And that's humanity's truth.
Yes. Absolutely. And when we're born, I mean, little children, they just want to be loved, and their nature is love. And actually their nature is truth. It takes them quite a long time to figure out how to lie. So they don't know how to lie. And so we're born in love and we're born in truth. So let's look at one illusion that we have, and that is the illusion of time. We think time exists, and what happens is we think, okay, well, I'm going to live from 0 to 75, 85, 95, and then I'm going to die. And I'm really stressed out because I've got to be successful, have a wonderful relationship, be strong in my finances. I've got to look beautiful. I've got to be healthy. And I don't know how to handle all that, So we're very, very stressed about time. And the universal truth is that time doesn't exist. We live in forever. So what would you say about that, Oscar?
Wow, it's a grand subject, but essentially it's this, right? That there is never another moment than now, which means that everything is now. And what was 1 second ago is still, now 1 second ago. So the notion of past and future is essentially a projection of our mind, right? You have a projection in your past, which is your memories, and you have your projections of the future, which are your expectations. That's why they're saying, for instance, fear, which is an overwhelming or is prevalent in every area of our life, unfortunately, mostly here in as humanity, right? False expectations appearing real. So we are fearful of an expectation that we're thinking is bad for us. And whatever it's going to happen there. And that fear in itself is just causing stressors. But in essence, when someone really challenge their fears and move through them, they will understand that, oh, it was an illusion altogether. And that's what I want to say about like eternity, right? So the sense of eternity is that it's almost an ungraspable thing. So we make up a clock, and we figure out that, oh, the sun is passing in this way, so that is the day, right? And we build our entire economic structure upon following these cycles. But in reality, that is it's still the time is an eternal thing, right? So it's interesting how we're stressing about something that is ongoing, and we measure in terms of age, in terms of years, and we somehow say that at this interval I should have achieved XYZ.
Yeah, around about 35 years old. I should have, a family, started a family, met my dream partner, be financially at least well off, have a good salary, etc., have a house and a car, and maybe live in the suburbs, etc. But by 35, and if I haven't, then I failed. So we create these illusions on ourselves. And what I'd like to go back to the moment when you said, this moment is the only moment. Yes. And it's the only moment, Oscar, that we can experience joy. There's no joy in the future. I mean, you can say, well, I'm going on holiday and I'm going to go to the Bahamas and I'm going to be in joy. Well, no, now. Your nature is joy. Be in joy now. Look at little children who are brought up lovingly. They are in joy the whole time. They are in creation the whole time. That's who we are. And we can be that in a practical sense in our work too. in our businesses. I'm an entrepreneur. Oscar's coach. We love our work, and we can enjoy in the present moment because it is a gift. So I'd like to ask you, whoever's listening, ask yourself, am I in stress or am I in joy? Because if you're stressed, your belief is all about time. And there's one thing, I think the time that we can use time as a discipline, but use time as every single moment is precious. And every single moment can be in joy. And if it's not, we can move into joy.
Yes. And it's also, I would say it's a practice, right? Because we've learned stress, because we've learned to think in a futuristic projection kind of way. And which means that our joy is in the future, which causes obviously stress, right? Because if the joy is in the future, right now you're stressed about trying to get the joy in the future. It's fascinating when you're thinking about top performances or top achievers. I've heard of gold medalists that are working, or that they're making it their highest goal to achieve this gold medal, right? With all their physical stamina. And when they're standing there on top of the, I don't know even what you call it, but the pedestal, right? Then they're overwhelmed with joy. But the thing is that you've interviewed them, and then 10 days later, it is the next goal that is the milestone. And so then the stress is back because the goal isn't achieved. So we're living in these cycles of fulfilling goals instead of being joyful right here, right now with what we're having. And the reason why we're not joyful is because of our own rule system that we're building up, right? We have rules that says, as you were talking about earlier, right? The rule that if I do not have this, I cannot allow myself to feel joyful.
Exactly. Has everything to do with healing. Stress causes disease, as we all know. So I'd like to ask you as a listener, are you in the moment? Are you appreciating this universal moment? Are you in your truth? Are you in joy right now? If you're not, you can actually make a shift right now, and in gratitude, just appreciate everything around you, even the stuff that isn't working, and just be grateful for everything and everybody in your life, whether you want them in your life or whether you don't want them. They're in your life as a gift, even if it's only temporary. So what would you say to that, Oscar?
Well, what I would say is that gratitude is interesting, right? Because when it comes to emotional well-being and getting up into the part of joy, right? Because sometimes when you're speaking of joy, someone who is in a very like depressed way, that joy is a far leap emotionally. So it becomes a utopia, right? It becomes an impossible goal to reach because it's emotionally out of reach in our span, right? So sometimes when you're saying, oh, just feel gratitude, people can feel less joy, even though they know for the fact that they should feel gratitude, right? Because instantly comes this comparison. Instantly come, oh, I'm feeling this, but I can't feel gratitude. Oh, there must be something wrong with me. There's something just doesn't add up, or oh, it's useless. I've tried this before. I've heard that before. Why should I do it, right?
Good.
So,
Absolutely.
so in terms of reaching joy, right? In terms of moving towards that, I always say, like, well, start where you're at, right? Where you're at, which means that sometimes you might be, I might say, you know, you're hateful, or you're jealous, or or you're depressed, or maybe even higher, right? You're in anger. Maybe you need to be prideful, right? There is this stairs, right? Because if you think of a stair, you're walking up a staircase. If the steps are too long, you're not capable of taking the step, right? So if the step is like, oh, I'm going to go from depression and I'm going to go right up here to utter universal peace, love, understanding, and truth, right? That leap, that emotional leap, isn't there yet, right? It is too far a step.
Yes.
So it is this stepwise step, right? Which I've found out is like, it's just the need of having a little bit of a release gives people a certainty that it is possible to feel your way up the staircase to where you're actually coming to the place where you're feeling grateful and gratitude. And the more you train yourself, right? Because it is a practice, because we've forgotten that, right? First of all, right here and now, that we can thrive. And because we've forgotten that, then we only have external factors that allows us to thrive. It's like, oh, I'm married, now I can celebrate, right? It's like, oh, I achieved this thing in the gym, now I can celebrate. Yes. But the fact that we're just moving up an emotional level, that in itself becomes a celebration, because it's an instant release.
Yes.
So yeah, so that is essentially what I would say. Like, the gratitude is a beautiful step, but sometimes someone simply aren't there, and therefore I say, allow yourself to just express whatever emotion you're feeling and go into it completely, right? And always have because you need to feel it in order to heal it.
Yes, absolutely. It's about getting real. And
yes.
You're absolutely right. And I have a tip for all of our viewers, and that is, take your mobile phone and time yourself 2 minutes. Be as angry or as jealous or as prideful or whatever you're feeling, or down as you like, for 2 minutes, and express yourself full out. Shout, scream, swear, whatever you need to do. And then 2 minutes of gratitude. You will find, when you do that, you will find your gratitude, that you're alive. We're alive. If you're alive, there's hope, right? If you're alive and you're in prison and you're being tortured, there's still hope. There's still hope. Because you are alive today, right? So practice that. And what I would like to say is, maybe that's enough for this week, and we will have another podcast next week. And if you would like to get in touch with me, I'm Katarina Hanssens Carlsson. LinkedIn is the best place to reach me. And what about you, Oscar? How do people reach you?
Well, they can either reach me by just logging on to my YouTube, which is Oscar Nygren on YouTube. You can just search there. That's my channel name, Oscar Nygren. And I also have a website, which is called realitydecoding.com. And anyone can just book there to get to speak for me for 30 minutes for free in order to see what we can do together. And yes, that's also, I also have a Facebook group that is called Live Your Purpose. So people can tune in there.
Beautiful. So we're both all about purpose and all about joy and living universal truth. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next week. And stay with us. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you.